When Tadej Pogačar rolled into Paris in the yellow jersey for the 5th time, the result was never really in question. What's far more revealing is what happened after the finish line. What Pogačar himself said, how his rivals reacted, what the legends of the sport declared. And why, even now, the crowds are divided. Because the story of this tour isn't in the standings, it's in the reactions. So let's go through them. First, the context, quickly. Pogačar sealed his 5th Tour de France title, finishing more than 6 minutes clear of Remco Evenepoel. The biggest winning margin of his career. Along the way he won 5 stages. And he did it after his great rival Jonas Vingegaard crashed out of the race in the mountains. Then came the microphones, and this is where it gets interesting. For a man who had just made history, Pogačar was strikingly grounded. His first reaction was pure exhaustion and relief. I have no words, really. It's been incredible. The atmosphere has been spectacular. I'm also happy it's over. Notice that. Happy it's over, not triumph. Relief. He called the 5-time Winners' Club a very prestigious club. But then brushed the history aside almost immediately, saying he wasn't thinking about any history, clubbing, or whatever. Asked for the secret behind it all, he didn't talk about numbers. He talked about people. The most important is enjoying what you do, and having people around who trust you, help you, stay with you in tough moments. With whom you can be yourself and fight for your dreams. And his plans for the biggest night of his career? I want to get some sleep, but for sure we have a nice dinner planned with the whole team. We'll tell some nice stories and enjoy the moment. But the line that got the most attention was about the future. We'll come back to that. Here's what tells you how far ahead Pogačar really is. His rivals aren't resentful, they're in awe. Remco Evenepoel, the man who pushed him hardest and even beat him on the brutal stage 15, put it plainly. After that stage win he said, "It's amazing, I'm literally trembling from emotion." And on racing Pogačar directly, he didn't hedge. You have to understand, I'm racing with the best guy ever. Both Evenepoel and Vingegaard have gone on record calling Pogačar the greatest cyclist of all time. And Pogačar returned the respect. When Vingegaard crashed out, he didn't celebrate a weakened field. He said, "The tour won't be the same without him." For a sport built on rivalry, that mutual respect became one of the biggest talking points of the race. Then the sport's history weighed in. By winning a 5th title, Pogačar drew level with the 4 immortals. Anquetil, Eno, Indurain, and Eddy Merckx. And Merckx himself, the man most people still call the greatest ever, didn't just congratulate him. He predicted his own record would fall, saying Pogačar will soon break our record. The media ran with the same question everywhere. Is this, finally, the greatest cyclist who has ever lived? The debate dominated cycling coverage from Britain to Australia to the United States. Which, for a sport that usually lives in Europe's shadow in the English-speaking world, tells you how big this moment was. But not everyone joined the coronation, and this is the part people don't always mention. On the climbs, Pogačar was booed by parts of the crowd. During one stage, a spectator threw a bag of crisps in his face. For a section of fans, a rider who wins almost everything makes the race predictable. The drama drains out when the ending feels written in advance. Pogačar's response? Ice cold. To all the guys booing, they give us more power. That single line split the fanbase all over again. To his supporters, it's champion steel. To his critics, it's proof he's untouchable to the point of boredom. Either way, it's exactly why he's the most talked about athlete in the sport right now. Which brings us back to that line about the future. Standing in Paris, already a 5-time champion at just 27, Pogačar said the thing that set the cycling world buzzing. Now I have to find a new goal. That comment immediately sparked speculation about a possible Vuelta or España appearance. And beyond it, the World Championship in Montreal this September, and his relentless chase of Merckx's all-time records. When the biggest challenge left is finding a challenge, you're watching something rare. So over to you, after everything they said, the rivals, the legends, the fans. Do you think Pogačar is already the greatest of all time, or does he still have to prove it? Tell me in the comments, subscribe for the follow-ups, and I'll see you in the next one.